Hi, my name is Elise Buffett Nelson, and I play cello in the Fargo-Moorhead Symphony Orchestra. I started the cello when I was in 4th grade in the public schools in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. We were given the opportunity to pick an instrument, and they had all of our 4th graders go into the gym, and they had people demonstrate the instruments. And as soon as I heard someone play the cello, I just knew that was the instrument I wanted to play. I just loved the sound. And when I went home to tell my mother that, she was a little surprised because she thought I could play violin because we already had a violin in the house, but I really wanted to play the cello. It's very similar to the violin and the viola in shape and its history as far as when it began. There are some major differences. Obviously, it's pretty big. It's not the biggest instrument in the orchestra. The double bass is the biggest instrument in the orchestra. Several hundred years ago, probably 300-400 years ago, there were Baroque cellos that didn't have what we call this end pin. And now it's pretty fancy, and it's made out of like carbon fiber and all this very light material, and it can be very sharp on the end so it can dig into the floor or the carpet and not slip. But in the Baroque era, we had to play, they had to play without the end pin. And so I don't know if you can tell what happens to the fingerboard when they're trying to hold the instrument with their legs. The fingerboard goes off to the side, and it makes it very difficult to get around and play in the upper registers. And so a lot of the music back then, the cellos would accompany and be a bass line, or be along with the harpsichord accompanying a melody. So it was more of an accompanying instrument. Well, then the end pin was invented, and that makes it so much easier to hold, and it brings the neck and the fingerboard. This fingerboard is this black piece of ebony wood where our fingers go down. That's called the fingerboard. But it brings it in a little bit closer, frees up your arms, and you're able to play a little bit higher. There are 4 strings on the cello. A is the highest, D, G, and C is the lowest. I'm just going to play each one so you can hear what they sound like. This is an A, the D, the G, and my favorite, the low C string. And the cello is has a wide range, and in the string quartet, it can be the bass line, but it also can have the melody because it can go up pretty high. One thing I like to do sometimes, just to show the versatility of the cello, is you can play really low, like the Jaws theme. Okay, something kind of pretty dramatic like that. Or it can be a very melodic, calm piece like The Swan by Camille Saint-Saëns. So I'm going to just play a little bit of the Swan for you. I just wanted to show you real quick about the bow. Cellos and basses, pizzicato, it's a fancy Italian word for plucking. So we get to do that in orchestra a lot, as well as play with the bow. And with the bow, we can be very expressive and play very loud or soft. But I think it's interesting that it's this white stuff here is hair from a horse's tail. And let me just show you, there's this little screw on the end here, and it's made up, I don't know, anywhere from 80 to 100 or so pieces of hair. And if we take this off, it looks like a solid piece. If I unscrew this and release the frog, which they call that, the frog, you can see the individual strands of hair in the bow. And so then you can put it back together and then tighten it up. And I think why they use horsehair is it's got little barbs just like our own hair. It's not completely smooth, and it's easier to grip the string that way. We also put rosin on there to help us get a good sound on the instrument. So that's basically the cello. Thank you.
This program is funded by the North Dakota Council on the Arts, the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, and by the members of Prairie Public.